And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. Boy, you see us early in the morning. You see us here before you go to bed at night. We appreciate you. We are here on the Doing All Right pod. And I just want to say I appreciate everybody for showing all the love and support, all the, on the socials and the comment sections and all that. In case you didn't know, I made my debut on the draft show today. Brian Broad said, hey, you better be careful because XYZ. And I was like, man, ain't nothing finna happen up in there. And it was exactly what Brian said it was going to be. So shouts out to Brian for being right. And I think we had a pretty good one. I think we're going to have a lot of great shows moving forward, Brian.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, though, how'd you feel on your first day? You kind of you and I perform in front of the world on our little podcast here, but that's a big stage you get to walk out on. And by the way, you're more than talented and deserving of the opportunity to be a part of that. And so thank you for a really good first day. But what were your feelings going through that one? A little nervous? I don't want to do this, do that, or I thought you came out blazing pretty good.
This is where my nerves come from. Not because I'm nervous, but I know that what we do here is different than what we'll do over there. So over here is me and you talking. You'll cut me off 1,000 times. That's fine. I'll cut you off. Over there, I have to understand that everybody's got a turn. So that's one more. Says one more thing I got to think about, and not to try to step on people's toes or to cut people. Right. And really, I was ready to fight today. I got something written down for you, bro. I was ready to fight today, but I was like, I don't want to. It was just a lot in the back of my mind that I was thinking about while trying to put on a good show, because I want to be the information guy, but I'm a vintage draft show fan, right? Sure. So as a vintage draft show fan, like Brian, Hellman, Brugler, Kavanaugh, right? That's my era. Yeah. It was a perfect mixture of information, entertainment, and all that came together with fights and disagreements, right? Right. And the one thing that I wanted to do is to do my part in this show and to make sure that we're not just buddy and just talking players. Yeah. I don't want to just be buddy and talking players. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to bring a little entertainment, and I wanted to bring some pushback if we ran into it. Today was just an easy day. We just talked about big picture stuff. We had plenty of time to get into fights and arguments when we talk about players. So it wasn't just about me giving information. If I just had to show up and talk and just give information, cool. Yeah. But in my mind, I obsessed over, let me do this right so I can uphold the integrity of I put this thing on a pedestal, Brian. Let me not step on the host's toes. Let me not elbow the hell out of Nick, and you know what I'm saying, let me make sure that he gets his thoughts out and not cut him off. So it was a lot on my mind, but once I got past that first segment, I got a feel for what a 5-man Royal Rumble is going to be like. Yeah. And it's good to go. We're good to go now.
Yeah, no. And the draft show, to me, the vision of the draft show has always been, I know the motto was investigate and educate. Sure. And I always lived by that standard. But the draft show to me was tried to make it as similar to what you deal with in a draft room setting when you're starting to put players on boards. The arguments, the discussions, the challenges, the agreements, you could in a way put people against each other in a good way. I'm not talking about trying to be mean, spiteful, and all that. Yeah. But when you're in that room, you want to have that ability to say, no, I don't see that in that guy. Yeah. And then maybe somebody else comes in and says, well, no, Voch, you're full of crap. That's that guy right there. That this guy's got and I thought there was a couple of different times where I know that Nick Harris, and I respect the heck out of Nick, he was talking about why he wouldn't take Genty. Mm-hmm. But then when you challenged him on that, where are you going to go? Sure. Have an answer for me, or I need to provide. If you were to challenge me, like I'm fighting for Genty, and you're like, Brian, I don't think you take a running back in the first round. I'm sorry. Yeah. But, if you can't take Genty, who are you going to take? Right. And then it turns into, well, okay, if I can't get Genty, then it turns into the discussion, because then I might bring up a player that you're like, either you like that player or you're like, dude, you just way overreach for that guy. Yeah. And that's the kind of discussions that you have in my experiences being in war rooms. And that's what I always tried to want to create for the draft show, and I don't get to host it, not working at DallasCowboys.com anymore, just doing stuff like you being a contracted employee. We have to kind of step back, but that doesn't mean that when the time comes that we can't pounce and fight and do things like that. So I'm looking forward to that. I think we got a good crew. I think the rotation of it ought to be interesting because I think there's going to be a lot of different opinions. Yeah. And maybe the show will be from show to show, it'll be a lot different. Like when you and I work with Zach Wolchuk on Thursday, maybe it'll be different than what, and so I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I'm excited that we got the show off to the good start. And, and I'm glad that in a way there was a little bit of nerves. There's always nerves. I have nerves too. And I've been doing the thing, the full time. Yeah. You always want to educate people. Like I said, to investigate and educate. That's so important to me, to try and encourage people to go out and do their own work though too. Yeah. Hey, you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with Voch. You don't have to agree with Nick Harris or Zach Wolchuk, but you go do your own work. And then when you watch us, fire back at us like, man, you guys are full of it. You need to think about this in a respectful way. And I think that's the cool thing about what the draft show brings from this time. It's a short, really window. Sure. I think Kyle said 40 shows? Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. 40 shows that we get to do. And it's done after that. So a lot goes into that, but I'm really proud to have you. I love working with you in this platform, but I love having you as a teammate. Much well-deserved the opportunity. And thanks to Derek Eagleton, if he's listening tonight, about putting you as part of this, because it was well-deserved for you.
Appreciate you, boss man. One more thing I wanted to just bring to the show or whatever is I wanted to be a super individual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't want to parrot a lot of other talking points or whatever.
No, you can't do that.
So
can't do that.
When I'm talking, okay, so for example, right, when we were doing the pet cat segment, right? I didn't just want to come out and be like, hey, Tyler Booker. I wanted to be like, I hate 300-pound guards. Right. I hate.
You're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? So just to bring a little more, like, not only is this is my pick, but this is why though. And hopefully by the end of this thing, people will have listened to me enough to go, okay, well, Voch doesn't like project players. He doesn't like small guards. He doesn't like slow receivers. This is what Voch likes. And hopefully by the end of the show, people have a good feel for the type of player I like.
Yeah, the draft show will allow you to fight for certain guys. Yeah. And, like I say, it's not always disagreeing, because there's a lot of the things that are said that I'm like, when you started talking about 300-pound guards, I immediately said, yes. Yeah. He is absolutely dead balls on right about that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, you have to offer a little bit of the why. Why am I saying this guy? Why am I standing on the table for this guy? So it's fascinating, because the draft is so unique. It really, really, really is unique because of the ability, not everybody sees these players the same way, which I think is what makes the draft so much fun, and that you can come to a consensus of really, where this thing is going potentially for your team. And that's another thing too, Voch, is I like to say, the thing with the, yes, we're a DallasCowboys.com deal. Yeah. But the Joneses encourage us. They know that we are a show that talks about the draft. We talk about, so other teams, if you're listening to Voch night to night, just trying to get some, draft insight, and you're a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles or the Commanders, Giants, Pittsburgh, whoever, we're here for you, man. And gal, we're here for you. Yeah. We're going to talk about your players. We're not just, it's it's a Cowboy arena, but talking about the draft is so much more than just that one team that you work with. It's about all the teams. And hopefully, if you're following along, that you get that from us. That's important to me too.
Brian, if you're wiped out, and I understand running backs not all that important in the grand scheme of things, right?
There's some good ones.
But you have to take Ashton Jeanty even if you're wiped out, right?
Yeah, I think that to me, I'm going to say this a bunch, but yeah, I'm trying to convince me he's not the best player on the board.
Sure.
Try and convince me of that. If you evaluate the college tape, you look at the medical, you look at the player itself, you look at the off the field. There's so much positivity about the kid that you absolutely, if you got wiped out. Now, if you went in with the idea of keeping an open mind and McMillan somehow ends up to you,
it's different.
I could absolutely take McMillan there.
Yeah.
I could, you know what? And if Carter, the Penn State different. Edge is there, by some reason, he, you never know. I to this day laugh, Jeff Kavanaugh, I laugh about the mock drafts that we kept doing where CeeDee Lamb got to the Cowboys and we kept redoing the mock draft because we knew it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens at 12. But yeah, I am all about the best player, Voch, in that situation.
Yeah.
And I think you're dealing with a team right now. If your team is talent poor, and I think Dallas is about to have we went over on 105.3 The Fan today. They're about to lose, I believe, a lot of guys. There's probably not enough picks for them to replace everybody they're about to lose. So you might lose a nickel corner. You're going to probably lose an edge. You're probably going to lose a defensive end. You're going to lose players. So you've got to keep an open mind about, is it the running back? But you said wiped out. Wiped out. If I'm wiped out and that runner's still on the board, in my heart of hearts, I don't feel like I'm wiped out.
Yeah. People that side with the whole there's good running backs later. And look, I do partially side with that, Brian, but I would be upset with myself if I go, well, Jeanty's a running back. I'll just take Michael Williams, Scourton, or something like that. Oh, I'll just take James Pierce. And look, I actually like James.
Good players.
James,
good players.
But Jeanty is
players that could help.
Jeanty's the last of the dudes, though, Brian. Even the tackle from LSU, right? Campbell. I'm like, man, I see what you're saying. Offensive line is important in general. But Ashton Jeanty, you said it, Brian, like just a safe player with the least amount of warts. I don't care about his carries and all that because I don't really plan on him being around more than 5-6 years anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to get the best 5 or 6 years I can out of the man.
You would make yourself sick trying to overthink this thing and not taking the best player on the board. And he might be the best damn player in the draft, Brian.
Yeah. The thing that's very, I think the thing that's very concerning to me looking at this draft is that there's certain positions where there's not a certainty. And even in the first round, there's not a certainty of an offensive tackle. There's not a certainty of now, one defensive end, one defensive tackle, a one technique, one running back, 3 wide receivers, 2-3 corners, and to me, I'm thinking, give me at least, if I'm picking in that top 12, which I am, give me the certainty that I'm going to get a player that is going to be a difference maker. Yeah. The players that, the Will Campbells of LSU and, and those guys at Banks at Texas, there are some real questions there, real questions.
Yeah.
But they're first round players, but there's real questions there.
Sure.
I think with Jeanty, there's far less. In my heart, I don't feel pain or stress when I talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel stress when I talk about McMillan.
Yeah.
Or
Carter.
Or the Colorado kid. Sure. I don't feel stress. Some of these other kids, they're really good players, but I feel stress. And I'm trying to eliminate that. I'm trying to eliminate just give me the guy. And if it's the runner, I think he's going to be great for you. Sure. I really do believe he's going to be great. I will argue that point that he's going to be great.
Yeah.
I've seen some backs that have gone really, really high. I've seen the Kajana Carters at Penn State way back in the day, you know, that you thought can't miss, get hurt, miss.
Yeah.
You know, this kid looks different to me, but there are players, like I say, the McMillans, the Burdens at Missouri, you know, they look a little different. The Ohio State kid receiver looks a little, you know, there's a little bit I could see that if you wanted to go wide receiver, I feel a little bit better about that group than I do. Like I say, I feel really good about a one technique if his name is Brandon Graham from Michigan.
Sure.
You know, I feel good about
Mason
that.
Graham. Yep.
Mason Graham. I'm sorry. Mason Graham. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Mason Graham. Yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
I feel good about Mason Graham.
Yeah.
Some of these others, I think they're good players, but I don't. And so I would be interested in how wiped out I really got.
Yeah.
Maybe it might play out good for me that other people aren't as apprehensive about taking some of these guys that I am.
Yeah. Brian, we talked about the like where the depth of this draft is, right?
Yeah.
Where do we have the most power? Like we had the power rank positions. Where's all the power at? And we
one techniques. I mean, and I talked about Graham, but behind him, it seemed like
there's a lot of guys there.
Second round, yeah, in that second round, and I don't know. Like I say, your board, my board. You know, when I look at, you know, and I have them. I probably have them different than you. And I know Zach Wolchuk, who we work with, he's a big Harmon fan from Oregon. I'm a fan of the two Michigan kids, Graham, Grant, Harmon.
Here's my order. Here's my order right now.
Yeah,
here's my order. Graham,
yeah.
Michigan, Grant, Michigan, Williams, Ohio State, Harmon,
Yeah.
Oregon, Walker, Kentucky, Collins, Texas, and then I got Walter Nolan. I didn't want to fight about it today, but
Walter Nolan, that was a surprise because I looked over at you.
We looked at each other.
I looked at Walt, and I looked at you not in surprise, but I looked at you as, did we miss something? You know, when somebody has a different. Now, if that would have been interesting, Tommy being a first-time draft show guy.
I'm gonna fight him next time, Brian.
I figured you were. I looked at you like, are you going to say something or I'm going to say something? But
I didn't want to fight on the first day. I didn't want to fight on the first. But if anybody brings up Nolan again, I want to know what they like about him.
I want to tell you this, Nolan, Mississippi.
Yeah.
When he said that name and where he thought of him,
yeah,
that's why I looked at you and thought, did we miss him?
Sure.
Not that Tommy was wrong.
Sure.
Not that Tommy was wrong. I was hopeful maybe Kyle or somebody else would have said, yeah, you're right about Nolan.
Yeah.
And then it would have been, okay.
2 verse 2.
Now I need to go back and look at Nolan and get some more tape.
Yeah.
You know, on Nolan.
I'm going to watch him. I'm going to watch
Harris,
him.
Yeah, I am too. If Nick Harris would have said, yeah, Tommy, you got that. Yeah, Nolan, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
If 2 would have gone against us, 2 would have fought him. I know that.
Yeah.
Because I would have challenged him on that. But when he said that name, it gave me pause.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, okay, he saw something I didn't see.
Yeah.
And as a scout, you take that as like, okay, did I have a bad day? Was I hungry and thinking about, eating a lunch there? What was something going on at home? Was I not paying attention?
Sure.
It makes you think. So
I got a third on him, and I think that's a lot, but
I do too.
I'll rewatch him and just kind of see where we at, but just to make sure that my guns are loaded before I go into the fight. But I got him as a third, and I have him nowhere near some of these other guys I mentioned.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And I'm not group thinking. And you and I, we talked about where he was or what we thought. And I think you and I both came to the same thoughts as we're watching the tape.
He's just not the same kind of athlete these other guys are.
No, he's not. He's not. And it's interesting that you have the fact that you have the Ohio State Williams above Harmon.
Yeah.
I thought that to me, and I'm probably going to die on that hill with Harmon being there, but I guarantee you, as a group, I bet you Talik Williams, I bet you he's going to be higher with our group than, you guys end up probably going to be right about that. The group is going to say, give me Williams over Harmon. Now, I think Wolchuk will be, when we talk with Wolchuk this Thursday, if that gets brought up again.
Yeah.
But he is a Harmon fan.
Sure.
There's a side of me that's really, really split between Harmon and Williams.
Brian, I actually think more people are going to like Harmon from Oregon because he probably gives you more pass rush. But I like Williams more because we're talking about one ticks, right? He plays with more power, in my opinion.
Because I was doing a preview today. They're asking, well, how's Ohio State going to move? Or how's Texas going to move the ball? Yeah. And I'm like, you start to think about the guys that Ohio State has up front.
Sure.
And to me, I think it starts with Williams.
It does.
It starts with him.
Yeah.
Because, we'll see if that veteran Texas offensive line with a first-round grade tackle and a second-round grade tackle, and Majors, the center that's played 100 damn games for Texas.
Yeah.
They're gonna have their hands full with that guy.
Yeah.
And this could be one of those games where all of a sudden where I'm like, oh damn, Voch was right about this one. Maybe this kid's in the bottom of the first round.
Yeah.
He probably will be selected, with only 15 grades or so.
Sure.
He'll be selected likely in the first round.
Yeah.
But will he go before Harmon? Damn, you very well could be onto something there.
We'll see. Time will tell, Brian. Yeah, man, we were just talking about some of these edges, Brian, and one guy that we didn't mention, and of course we're not gonna be able to mention everybody, but Kyle Kennard.
Okay, so you watched Kyle Kennard today, is what you did, huh?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of Kyle Kennard, Brian.
Tell me a little bit about Kyle Kennard.
I'll tell you the first thing. Let me get my button ready.
Yeah.
I like him better than Nick Scored and Michael Williams.
Damn right you do.
Another one, Brian. Brian, what's going on, man?
Damn right you would.
Because look, Kyle Yeomans, when I was talking about Michael Williams, you're like, oh yeah, Michael, good player. I was like, hey, Kyle, you only got one more of them. Kyle, you only got one more of them before I start to ask you questions, right?
It's so funny when you work with somebody like you and I have for the the past few months.
Yeah.
And somebody says something, and
we know each other. So
I can't look at you every play, but you know how Aquaman used to send signals in the water to the fish. The whale. He's talking to the whale.
Yeah.
I felt like I was sending mental telepathy. I was sending you what the hell is he talking about?
Right.
without looking at you again.
This is my thing. Hold up. The one thing I didn't want to do is fight on the first. Look, Kyle sent us the rundown, right?
You did. And Kyle's going to send you a rundown.
And in my mind, I'm like, all right, it's just going to be some icebreakers today. And we just going to get acclimated. And we just going to be friends and just introduce the new guys. Brian, we got to the middle of the second segment. And I'm just like, man, this would be 4 fights if we was in midseason form by now.
It was funny. It's funny you say that because you and I kind of work off free flow.
Yeah.
We'll talk about things and kind of have a show.
Yeah.
And Kyle said those things, and you and I were talking beforehand, and I love Kyle. I love the fact he tried to prep that thing.
Sure.
I was sitting there thinking, segment 1, Voch tries to choke me. segment 2, I take a swing at Tommy Yardish.
Brian, one day,
segment 3, I push Kyle Yeomans off the chair and take over the hosting again of the draft show.
Brian, let's just, regardless of what he said, let's just go off the rails one day.
Sure.
Let's just go off the rails one day and do it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what you need to do. Hey, trust me, Kyle, if you're listening, this is all fun.
He understands. We're having fun. He understands.
We're having a good time here with each other.
Yeah.
a guy you could take it off the rails with is Wolchuk, and he'll get to host a couple of times.
Wolchuk will fight us. Yeah, yeah.
Wolchuk will fight your ass. He'll he will fight your ass from the host chair.
Yeah.
So yeah, but hey, it's all fun.
We have fun.
Say, we're all getting to know each other. But yeah, you're right.
But he better not say Michael Williams good player next week because I'm gonna ask him to follow up after that. But Brian, I like Kyle Kennard more than Michael Williams and Nick Scorton. Another one bites the dust. This dude gets his ass off the line of scrimmage, doesn't he, Brian Broadus?
He does.
This dude is twitched up. Yeah. This dude has another motor. Like he's another motor guy. Yeah. I think he has another gear that he goes into also, Brian Bros. Like he has this one motor that he really gets upfield with, but when he knows it's like a pass rushing down, he really gets upfield.
Oh yeah.
I watched Bama LSU and one other game, Brian. I forgot what other game that was. But he doesn't have he doesn't have a counter to him. He doesn't really have a bunch of, different varieties or whatever. But what he does is that he has a good feel for your movement. Yeah. So if you're working too far outside, he'll take the inside. Or if you're, playing too light on your feet, he'll run through you, right? And I think that even goes into some of his rundown stuff to where all right, I'm just whooping you, then I'm going to go find the football, right? I think he's a much better pass rusher than he is a rundown guy. I don't think he's small, but I do think in the run game he kind of gets lost in some wash a little bit. But as far as if he's in a one-on-one with a tight end, he's going to beat the tight end. If he's one-on-one with the tackle, he can defeat the tackle with one of his pass rush moves, right? But then he'll drop the ball and go and chase the ball carrier. One play, I believe it was LSU, Bama maybe, but they just kind of let him run free backside, and that's a terrible decision. He'll just run that damn thing down. Great athleticism on him, Brian Brothers. Maybe they'll want to put some more bulk on him at the next level when he gets to the league, but he wins. He makes his babies getting off the ball, pressure. Even when he's not getting sacks, he's just disruptive as hell, Brian, whether it's working the outside or crossing in the B gap and just doing his thing from in there. But Kyle Kennard, big fan of him. I got him in the second round, Brian.
Yeah, I tell you what, I have him in the top of the third, but I understand what you're doing here. And this is where, and the reason I lowered him, did you say anything about his awareness?
He gets lost a little bit. He gets lost in.
Okay, you did say that. Okay,
I was a little bit.
Because I was checking my notes and I was listening to you talk. I think you got the guy right. Now, I want to ask you this because I want you to tell me about the Boston College guy.
Okay.
Boston College edge after this, okay?
Okay.
Because I like the Boston College guy better than Kennard.
Okay.
But I had them right there with each other.
Yeah.
Is what I had.
Yeah.
But Kennard, you're right, is a physically good-looking player. This kid started his career at Georgia Tech. And so, but he's twitchy. He's 6'5", he's 254. He does come off the ball quickly. He plays with an explosive burst. He can win the edge before the tackle even has a chance to get in the set. I watched LSU, watched Clemson. He's got a good set of pass rush moves. He's got violent hands. He can get around the corner. He's got flexibility. He does show the ability to get underneath the tackle's punch, like the tackle's punching, and he's kind of underneath, and then he's going to the quarterback. I think he can stack and shed at the point of attack. The motor you mentioned, the effort you mentioned, the relentlessness you mentioned, the backside plays, the pad level. Sometimes it gets a little high for me, and there's snaps where he's too high, and then you kind of see him struggling to get off the blocks. And there's some plays where you see him lose sight of the ball, and he's a little inconsistent in that area. And he'll make moves that kind of take himself out of the play. I worried about that a little bit. Sure. He's got all the physical traits you want in a pass rusher. He can line up on both sides of the formation. He can be effective. He can cause some problems off the edge, but I just like to see him play with a little bit more awareness.
Control for me, Brian. Control. Slow down and diagnose. I think that's probably what it is.
I had him in the top of the third round on my board.
Where do you have Donovan Izudruke from Boston College?
Yeah, we need to learn how to say these names.
I'm not.
Right?
I'm not. Nick Harris was just showing off today.
Ruka. Yeah, but anyway, so here's where we're at with I've got him above Kennard in that third round.
Yeah,
but once again, here are two guys that very well could be in the bottom of the second round.
Sure.
I like the Mississippi kid better So you mean like Pierce, Green, or was it you? They were saying his name. Both
Princely. I'm not finna try his name either. I'm just gonna call him Princely.
Yeah, our Ole Miss kid.
Yeah.
God, I swear to God, I'm gonna learn these kids' names. I swear to you, they're gonna roll off my tongue like Osa Odigizua. I swear they are.
One day.
But anyway, I have him above. But I really did like this Boston College kid. I think there's a point of his game where you do see explosiveness, you do see quickness, you do see dip and balance and get to the ball. You see that rushing to the level where the quarterback is. There's a lot to like about him, just because of the way the explosiveness and, like I say, the dip, and to be able to get underneath blockers and then get in on the quarterback. There were a couple of times there where, I'm watching him play. It was, I think, the Pitt game where he's there, but he misses, and then he comes back and he gets him. He plays with an era about him, that quickness, that explosiveness, that when you see him coming off the ball, it is boom. He's like that suddenness.
Yeah.
And so I really do like the young man from Boston College there. I swear I'm gonna learn these names, and I'm just gonna roll right off my tongue like it's no tomorrow. But those are a couple of two. I have both those kids, Kennard and the Boston College kid, right there with each other on my board.
Both tags are touching for me too, Brian. But
you got him in the second round though, right? Second.
I got him as late second guys, but both of them better than Scourton and Williams. I might as well just move Scourton and Williams to the third round, Brian, bro. I might as well just move those guys.
I'll tell you what, man. You mean Stewart? You mean? Yeah, you're talking about him and Stewart, or
Stewart's in the fourth. I'm talking about Williams from Georgia and Scourton from Texas A&M.
Oh, gotcha.
I got late twos on both of them. As far as Kennard from South Carolina and Donovan from Boston College, Brian,
I swear, let's learn the names. We got to figure this out.
I got those tags touching, but I got Kennard slightly over Donovan.
Okay.
Simply because of the size. Kennard small,
54 to 48, something like that. Yeah.
Kennard small, but Donovan's smaller than him. You know what I mean?
Exactly, he is.
So in my mind,
he's kind of muscled up a little bit. I mean, he's thicker. He's like our guy. He's like my guy. He's like my guy at a little bit. I don't think he's as good at looking as Green.
No. Green is really muscled up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Donovan's like 6'2" also, Brian, I believe. He's kind of short. I think all that kind of plays into it for me. I think Kennard and his big issues is like just securing the rundown stuff. I think you can work on that. I think you can help a guy secure the rundown stuff. But both of them are twitched up as hell. Both of them get off the line of script. I got Green, Princely, Kennard, and Donovan back to back. Just all back.
See,
to back
you've got. Now I see what you've done. You stacked all those edge rushers.
They're stacked up
right
like
there
that,
with all those dudes that are twitchy edge rusher dudes.
But so, Brian, let me ask you this, because all of the bigger power guys, Jackson from Arkansas, Sawyer from Ohio State, Tuimalau from Ohio State, and Ivy, I got all those guys together, Brian.
I see what you've done. You've taken the twitchy dudes.
It ain't on purpose.
And then you have the run players.
It's not on purpose like that though. It's just they just happen to be that. The bigger guys just happen to be in the third. But Brian, what I'm trying to figure out now is let me just stop being phony. Like, where do I start liking Nick Scourton over some of these other guys? Where do I start to like him? And I got Scourton in the second round and some of these other bigger guys in the third, but I really think that's me being phony. That might just be me being phony. If we had to make a football team today, you've been watching these damn postseason games. You see these Ohio State kids and how they affect the game, Brian Brothers. Scoring's not affecting the game like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm having a hard time ranking some of these guys because a part of me does feel like maybe I'm wrong. But if I trust myself,
I've got Scourton in the third, and I'm going to leave him there.
Yeah,
I'm just going to leave him there. And I think the idea that you have of twitchies all together,
twitches in the second,
those 5 technique looking ends.
Yeah.
You know, okay. Like, do you kind of feel like that these guys, those 5 tech head up ends, do you kind of feel like you're watching Neyland play last year at Western Michigan?
Sure. That's kind of who they are. I mean, Neyland's.
I mean, that's what I think. I'm kind of like, okay, good against the run, plays with some power, can set an edge.
The difference is
really
Neyland
pass rush work.
Neyland was a much better athlete than them though. Like Neyland could fly around the field. I agree. Yeah, that's a difference. But in terms of big guys, I do think in general the bigger guys tend to fall down your board a little bit, and people value pass rush a little bit more. So those twitchy guys, they go up to the top. I think you have to be like a Joey Bosa kind of guy to be a power dude, but still end up top like that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I'm kind of in that mode right now where I'm okay. Let me ask you this then, real quick, if I can. Please. Okay, let me see if I could find my guy. Hold on one second here. Yes, if I can find my guy, and where do I have? Okay, I'm looking at the edges, and I'm trying to. Let me go through here. Oh, I think I'm having down here at the
what's okay. Cool?
It's Ohio State. It's my guy, TJ. You know, TJ Tuimoloau.
Yeah.
Yeah. TJ Tuimoloau is okay. Okay. Not a twitchy guy, right?
Nope. Football player though.
Yeah. But see, that's what I'm saying. I have him above our Boston College kid.
Okay.
And also the South Carolina kid. See, but this is the problem. I think this kid's a really, really good football player. I don't want to bring him down the board.
Sure.
Just because he's not flashy, but so consistent.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to give the guys due, but the you have the twitchy guys over him.
Traits, Brian. Traits. We are looking for traits. And Tuimoloau is a great football player, but he ain't got traits. If you look at like we get fired or hired based on finding some of these twitchy twitchy guys. These are some explosive dudes, and they're all back to back. Pierce, I got Walker. So
you have
Georgia.
Tuimoloau. You have him below all that, right?
I got Tuimoloau in the third, yeah.
Because you have him in that group of the run defenders.
Yes, sir.
The good run defenders that aren't bendy.
I got Jackson, Sawyer, Tuimoloau, and Ivy from Ole Miss.
You're right. They're all the same dudes.
Yeah.
They really are the same dudes.
Yeah. High effort guys, run guys, stack and shed type dudes, play some B gap sometimes.
I have Tuimoloau in the second.
Sure.
Because
I don't hate that though.
I see this guy he's played a ton, he's been healthy, he's reliable, he doesn't make mistakes.
Sure.
He doesn't
get sacks though. He don't get sacks though, but
no, he doesn't.
He plays well.
He doesn't get sacks.
And Donovan, right about that. And damn, Donovan got 16 and a half.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
It jumps out, Brian. I think this is a very spirited discussion. We're gonna table it right there, Brian. But I do think we were just talking about it earlier. I do think that edge is strong in this class. And I think we should walk away with one of them because I think we're gonna need them, Brian.
Okay, you're thinking twitchy over power guy. And so you're willing. It sounds like to me, I believe at 44, right? Is that where we're sitting at 44?
Yes, sir.
At 44, you taking one of those twitchy dudes?
I just got real phony because I want one of them one text, Brian. I just got real phony because I want one of them one text. But it depends, right? Okay, so look, how about this? These are the guys that'll get me away from one tech. If these guys are available at 44, in which they won't be, I don't think Mike Green is going to be available for me at 44. I think he's going to go in the first round.
I'd love that if Mike Green was there.
If he's there at 44,
that's my pet cat guy. I think Mike Green's going to be a hell of a football player.
I'll live with Mozzie if I can get Mike Green at 44. Mike Green, I wouldn't say Princely. like James Pierce from Tennessee. I don't think he'll fall to 44 neither. He
scares me. God, that guy scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, twitchy. Get after the pain. No, you're right. I see what you're doing.
You get sex.
Hey, I see.
So
I see.
If it ain't one of those guys,
going on here. Yeah, I see what's going on here.
If it ain't, you look, I can't find Phil Collins.
I got you. I know.
If it ain't one of those guys, Brian, I'm taking one of these one takes, and I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm not gonna think too long about it.
Give me. Okay, I've got to go do the show with Bobby after this one. So
yeah.
But I got to ask you one more question,
please. I'll be quick.
Give me the ideal. Just give me the positions in 1 and 2 for you.
Man, if I can get like.
Or should we come back tomorrow and talk about this?
It's probably wide receiver in one take, but we'll come back and talk about it because I want to find a way to get a guard in there or like an offensive lineman somewhere, and running back's gonna have to be third round. I think running back is gonna have to be.
It's wide receiver in one technique.
If I can get a wide receiver in one tech, I think I'll be okay.
Is there a running back that would take you off of one technique?
Caleb Johnson to get me up
at 44.
Caleb Johnson and Hampton to get me up out of there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love you, man.
Likewise.
Appreciate you.
Likewise, Brian Bros. We got a long way to go. We got a lot of this to talk about. I feel like me and you did draft last year, but it ain't like this. That ain't even count.
Like this.
That ain't even count. Brian's got to go. VOCHLOMBARDI. We trying to get paid on Twitter. And be sure to follow him at BRY. Again, brought us on social medias. And go watch Love the Star when it comes out, all right? It's been coming out quicker and quicker because they see how fast we get these doing all right pods out. Y'all had to make some changes over there.
I tell you what, man, it's amazing working with you, how everybody gets up off their ass. You know what I'm saying?
I bet. And we're going to have people getting off their ass Thursday. Me, Brian, Bobby, and Woolchuck are going to be on Thursday's edition of the Draft Show. So y'all be sure to tap in with that. Brian got me wanting to fuss. Y'all hold it down. We'll catch y'all next time, all right? Crown.